Okay, it is a Monday. We're checking in on the weather. We're going to talk about this week's weather. We're going to talk about the Tahoe storm. I'm going to revisit that just because it was unusual and it was, kind of it's sobering. It's going to be a good lesson for all of us. We're going to look at the fire danger, the East Coast heat as well, and then I got some cool video of brown bears in Alaska and eating salmon. The salmon are starting to move, and so the brown bears are doing that thing they do at the falls, which is awesome. This is the video from Saturday. I revisited this because, well, I just so often things happen. I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but things happen at the ocean, on lakes, in the mountains, and it's, to me, so often it's user error. This is not user error. I reconstructed the weather. The models weren't showing anything like this, and the severity and the speed with which this developed. These people were just extremely unfortunate, and it could have happened to anyone on the lake. I suspect I wasn't there, but I did. I happened to be. You and I watched the videos, not the video, the live stream from Bliss at about 10 o'clock that morning. And within 2 hours of that, and I said at that point, I said, God, I expect more wind up there by now, right? Just white caps, because it was windy. That was our red flag warning in the Central Valley. I was expecting different, and it was glassy. I'm like, wow, that's weird. And then 2, 3 hours later, boom, you got this. And then it went away almost as quickly as it came. And it generated swells up to 5 or 6 feet. And so I kind of did some reconstructing. First of all, the models didn't predict it. We did predict a chance of showers. We did predict the wind. I thought the wind would be blowing pretty aggressively out of the lake. But this is different. This is like a squall line. I couldn't see any evidence of a microburst, but it just felt different to me, the whole thing. One of the things that was different was when thunderstorms come into Lake Tahoe, they usually ring around the mountains, right? They typically do. They kind of build up on the mountains, and maybe one of the cells drifts off. This was a complex that didn't stop at the mountains. It just kept rolling right through the bay. And again, it's, snow in the mountains, the whole bit. So one of the things I wanted to do is reconstruct. And I started at 1 o'clock here. And this is from the South Lake Tahoe Airport. Okay, so this is as close as I could get, because that's the other thing. These winds are not going to be that accurate. They're just giving you an idea of when they tweak. And I think the winds were blowing. I think they were 40, 50 mile an hour gusts. I don't have that on record, but I don't have that in an observation. But you just, out on the lake, there's not many observations, if any observations. So I had to go to the South Lake Tahoe Airport or the North Lake Tahoe Airport or the Reno Airport, heaven forbid, or some unqualified site. But either way, at 1 o'clock, the winds are variable at 7. That basically means glassy on Lake Tahoe. Variable at 7 means go from 2 to 4 to 7 to 2 to 4 to 7. Not a big deal. Let's see, that's 1 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, the wind's still variable at 7. Gusts to 20. That's weird, right? That must have felt weird. So at 2 o'clock, you're gusting to 20. At 3 o'clock, it's gusting to 33 and sustained at 16. That is from the airport. So I'm going to say those gusts were 45, nearly 50 miles an hour on the lake, and probably sustained at 25. And it's a big lake. There's a lot of fetch. And so and then the winds, this is it. So it's this 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then it settles right back down. Look at this. Right, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, calm. So this was, so often it's user error. This was not user error. This was just not a crazy storm. I've talked to people who live up there. It was an unusual storm for sure. And again, I guess it underscores when you're in the outside, in the mountains, on the ocean, on a lake, you got to be ready to go. And when I was a kid, that's what our parents spent a lot of time training us to do. And somewhere along the line, we've gotten to it's boating. It's a lake. You're at 6,000, 7,000 feet in a lake surrounded by high mountains. And the potential for these things exists. We just think everything's Disneyland and safe, and it's just not. So I guess what I'm saying is be prepared always. If I was there that day, I could have easily gotten in trouble. I'm just saying. I don't think it's user error on those folks at all. I think it was just bad timing and a really bad situation. Okay, so temperatures around here going to warm a little bit, then cool a little bit, then warm a little bit, then sounds like last week. Last week, exactly. Here's the low pressure. The next low pressure that drops in. The jet stream's kind of right here. Kind of drops down. See the trough's still here. And then there's the ridge. There's the East Coast heat, right? East Coast heat under the ridge of high pressure. This trough, just enough to deepen the marine layer or shallow it. It has kind of shallowed it a little today. It'll deepen perhaps a little tomorrow, but you know the drill. So that's where we're going. This is a live camera shot. I picked this up this morning. This is, that's Bontempi. No, is that Bontempi? Yeah, Bontempi Reservoir. Some fog out towards Point Reyes. I want you to see the smoke. I'll back it up again. I think you can see some of the smoke. There's smoke drifting into our area from the fires up in Oregon and some of the fires in other parts, even near Canada. But you can see the smoke model moving right there. I don't know if I can stop. I can't really stop it down. I'm not going to try. But you can see the Bay Area. You can see San Francisco. You can see smoke all the way south down to San Diego. A little bit of smoke from various fires down there as well. But I think it should start again. But there's smoke in the area. I think we can see it here. I suspect a lot of the smoke is coming from these northerly fires, that southerly wind, right, or that trough, right, giving us sort of a northerly flow and pushing some of the smoke in our direction. And these are the fires out west. The fire in, I think it's, what is it? The Ward fire. I didn't want the Ward fire. I wanted another. We had a big fire out here. Here it is. I think it's Connor fire. This one they got some containment on, now 19% contained, but they still have a huge evacuation perimeter, very large, but they're getting a handle on it. The winds have died down. Fire danger still high, but red flag warnings have been dropped for us. We'll look at the watches and warnings. This is purple air. I just want you to see how we've got our smoke in our area with this trough, and then into this ridge of high pressure. I don't think it's going to load. This ridge of high pressure, there it is. You've got the air quality stagnating. So we do have our smoke here, right? This west coast. A little bit out here in the Midwest, but what you're looking at is under this ridge of high pressure is this stable environment. Not only is it hot as hell and extreme heat warnings and advisories, but you've got a real issue with air quality. It's going to get worse each day too. It's going to bake in. Cars drive around, pollutants get in the atmosphere, but they can't mix out vertically. They just stay, right? That's what a dome of high pressure is. That's what an inversion is. That's a big inversion. We fortunately don't have much of an inversion right now. That's why temperatures are manageable, but that's because we're kind of under slight influence from this trough. But this ridge, it is just sinking air and stable environment. So keep an eye on that. Here are some of the winds. Winds have died down, except Point Reyes is still gusting to 20 miles an hour. Sustained, remember the flags, 10 knots is the long one. 5 knots is the short one. That's my dog, Franny. I had to stop once because of before. I'm going to let her out. You be cool. You hang on. Okay. I'll talk to you across. Come on, Franny. That's a girl. Good girl. You're so awesome. You're so awesome. You're so awesome. Okay. That was good. Got her gone. Okay. So this is bad podcasting, right? So the winds have died down. 75 in Sacramento right now. Those are temperatures, the 73, 75. And it just shows Sacramento with no wind, just a ball. And then up in around Redding or around Chico, you've got wind gusts to 15 miles an hour. The watches and warnings nationwide, kind of really, remember we had all that going on out here with that trough. Got rid of, again, I keep showing it, but I just feel like it's so important to understand this. And then there's the ridge. And you can see why it's important to understand, because this weather's manageable because it's in a cooler trophy pattern. This, and less fire danger. And this area, not manageable in terms of heat. These are extreme heat warnings. The purple areas are, and the heat advisories. And that's a high population. I mean, that's New York. I mean, what's that? More than half the population of the country, easy, under some kind of heat constraint. And as we talk about so often, all the time, is that heat is the thing that gets you. Can't get away from it. And I think about this often. I say this every time, but like even me, like I'm not young anymore, but heat messes you up. Like I mean I don't throw up and pass out or anything, but I kind of I don't feel that good. And you keep doing what you do anyway, but I don't feel that good. It's kind of weird. I better have some water. You're kind of and so imagine if you're like my dad, 98, well, jack you around, or a little puppy like Franny, who I just kicked out of the studio. She's got to have water and shade. She's right next to the ground. Right next to the ground, it's hot. So anyway, these are urban areas. And speaking, urban areas radiate heat. Urban heat island was a thing that kind of came about, and people understood that. Oh my God, all that concrete re-radiates. So Chicago downtown, Cleveland downtown, New York, Washington D.C. In these purple areas, the red areas are nasty, major. This level of heat affects anyone without effective cooling and or adequate hydration. So the reds impacts likely in some health systems, heat sensitive industries and infrastructure. This is a bunch of metrics the Weather Service puts together. It's not just temperature, but it's other stuff like we just mentioned. The purple is extreme. This level, look at how many people are in purple. This is for today. Extreme, this level of rare and or long duration extreme heat with little to no overnight relief affects anyone without effective cooling and or adequate hydration. Impacts likely in most health systems, heat sensitive industries and infrastructure. Yeah, so that's what we got going on here. That's for today. Here's tomorrow. Look at that, still there. This is on Wednesday. For some reason Wednesday didn't load up. Here's Thursday. Look at this. I mean, the Ohio, Mississippi Valley, it's not going away. That's Saturday there, and this is Sunday. I know, and we start to heat up again. So it's definitely a big thing. So we'll keep an eye on that. A lot going on today. Thanks, hey, new subscribers. Thanks for signing up, you guys. I appreciate it. Tell a friend. I would love it. I'm trying to grow it. I'm competitive. I really am. I love doing this. I love the people I meet. I love the people I talk to. I love your input. I have a lot of new friends now, which is interesting. Look at the smoke, and this is visible satellite, but you can see the smoke, right? Clearly, that stuff. That's the smoke coming down from. In its high levels, it's not an air quality concern really for us. Because it's high level smoke, but it just shows you how much smoke is up in the Pacific Northwest. And then you got some smoke down here as well. Fog back in along the coast. I should have probably pointed that out right away. That's going to keep the coastal sections cooler. Here is the GFS, Vorticity. Here we are. And here is the trough continuing through Tuesday. Kind of warms up on Wednesday. See how it just kind of, there's not really a troughiness over us. So Wednesday's a little warmer, like maybe some low 90s in the Inland Bay Valleys. And then Thursday looks a little warmer too. And then it gets a little cooler. See, it's muddled, and there's another trough, and there's another trough. And that big trough is towards the 4th of July, which I'm hoping it provides cooling and doesn't create wind. Because 4th of July, we've talked about it. I despise that holiday. I really do. I love America, but I'm like, are you kidding me? Fireworks? Seriously? And the Puget Sound, okay, it's a little sketchy, but still, that's fine. Up in Salmon Islands, yeah, that's cool. Eugene, it's maybe not, but okay. But Fresno, San Jose, that's crazy. So anyway, I'm not going to go on there. These are the forecast highs for today. And then here comes forecast highs for tomorrow. A little warmer, but not bad. Really manageable. And that's because of that trophy pattern. Okay. Covered a lot. That Tahoe thing really got in my head a little because I always look at how could you avoid this, whether it be through forecast models, good forecasting, or just user error. How can this not happen? And I looked at it and I go, there's not much it could have been done. It just was what it was. And so our condolences to people who were injured, lost. Anyway, back to the Puffins. Not to get too serious on you. Love the Puffins. I got a little special treat for us today. Because I mean, the Puffin camera, come on. Find me a better camera than the Puffin camera. Find it. I mean, now, even if you don't like Puffins, it's like the color, the lighting, the white from the rock. Oh my God, right? And everyone's, well, it's awesome. They got pissed. But check this out. Dude, we're doing brown bears at Katmai National Park. I'm sure I mispronounced that. Brooks Falls, which is famous. The salmon are running now. And I think you can, are those bears swimming or is it? I think those are rocks. But the bears are out there. Isn't that awesome? And the camera's not like super crushing it. These are brown bears. Brown bears are interesting. They are a species of bear, obviously, the same as a grizzly bear, but grizzly bear is like a subspecies of the brown. Brown bears are mostly in the coastal water areas. The grizzlies tend to be in the Rockies, and they will be in the coastal water areas, but in the Rockies. Brown bears are bigger than grizzly bears. Grizzly bears are a little bit smaller. They both like to fish. Yeah, brown bears. I always used to confuse brown bears and grizzly bears. But I did watch earlier, they are catching fish. I wish they would get a better camera though, because that puffin camera or the eagle camera, I mean, that's a pretty, what am I saying? We're watching this live. I would love to sit there. I know it's a tourist destination, but it would be fun to sit and watch them catch fish. And these babies are learning. I was fishing one time up at, I was on the McLeod, and I came off the PCT, at Pacific Crest Trail, and I was fishing. And a mama bear brought both her babies right down the side of a mountain. I have video of it. Gosh dang it, I should dig it up. Anyway, she's right in front of me, and it's a mama bear with cubs. I'm like, oh, great. She swims out literally right in front of me, like maybe 20 yards away. And she just swims out to this rock in the middle of this hole that I had been fishing up to. It was a good hole. You might know the hole if you, I'm not going to tell you where it is. But she swam out there. And the first baby followed her, and they were both sitting on the rock. And the second baby's not having it. The second baby's on this slope over here. They're on this rock. And the second baby's not having it. Second baby's gone. That's not happening. And he just kind of sat there. I'm going to try at this point in the video when I edit to go find that video and insert it. Because I think the video just shows Mama Bear climbing around, because I was a little nervous because she had cubs with her. But I think I got some pretty good video of it. But anyway, it was cute. Mama Bear, and you know what Mama Bear did? She was kind of a cool mom. Like I would have been, get your ass over here, we're going to do this. The second bear that didn't swim. But the Mama Bear took the cub, and they both swam back to the side of the slope, and all three of them walked away together. So the little one bear didn't do it. And mom didn't chastise the baby, which I thought, oh Christ, my dad never would have done that. My dad would have, are you kidding, right? I'm like, wow, that's a cool bear mom. Okay, a little break from the weather. I find it nice to do that because I like to do a lot of weather models and stuff. This is the smoke. Look at the smoke. This is Mount Shasta this morning. But it's nice to see the puffins and smile and then get back into some lighter weather. This is the sun kind of coming up this morning, and you'll see the smoke. And you'll see not a lot of cloud cover there. Nice day today in Mount Shasta. A lot of snow going away. That was interesting. And then let's see what else we got here. I think we got, this was South Lake Tahoe. This is from today, obviously. This is showing some of the snow. Let's see what we can get on this. This is showing some of the snow, a little control burn here. You can see the snow that fell the other night during that big event. This is where a lot of the trouble was, where I think unfortunately the boat capsized. I'm sure more than one boat capsized. And it's going to be a beautiful day in Lake Tahoe. Around the coast, we got the fog back in. There's Ocean Beach. Swells up a little, 3 to 4 feet, something like that. And then we got Santa Cruz, still small, a lot of fog. And then 6 to 10 day precipitation. Oh, I got some fun news too. A buddy of mine put together if you know anything about the surf ranch, Kelly Slater's wave pool, which is way harder than it looks. It's way harder than it looks. I'm going to, we're going. I've been a few times actually, but it's always fun. And it's funny because it's not easy. Like anybody if you're not 66, it's probably awesome. For me, it's like, I got to think about it, man. Cause it's not big, but it's hollow, and you have to get pretty compact in there, and you got to slot just right, or the barrel picks you off. So I'll probably have some video for you of that too. Maybe I'll throw some video in here from my last visit. Let me throw in video in. Okay, you guys have a good day. And again, remember, when you're out in the woods and stuff, it's not Disneyland. It's you're not taken care of, right? So what happened on the lake? That if you're in the, you think about the people backpacking up on the mountains. I mean, hopefully, nobody got hurt up there, but there's a lot of ways to go wrong at Lake Tahoe. You got to remember, you're above 6,000 feet. Okay, that's it. See you back here.